We are seeing Venezuelan gang members under the age of 11 years old, and police say that they're targeting tourist hotspots, robbing tourists in places like Central Park as well as Times Square, which is just a few blocks away from here. Now, the police also say that they are exploiting and recruiting members out of the migrant shelters like the Roosevelt Hotel behind me. Police say around 20 migrants, they call themselves the Los Diablos La 42, Spanish for Little Devils of 42nd Street. Well, they post on social media with government-issued phones, holding guns and bragging about their crimes. Police say that they're avoiding jail time since they're underage. That, plus New York has lenient laws on bail for misdemeanors and some felonies. So the gang knows this, and they're recruiting young people, knowing that they will not be charged if they're caught by police. The same gang was linked to an incident earlier this year where NYPD officers were assaulted in Times Square. But Venezuelan gangs are also turning up in other cities across the United States, including Chicago, Aurora, and El Paso, Texas. In Colorado, the landowner of the apartment complex that's been making news is fed up and posting surveillance video of what's happening. This video shows one of the workers allegedly being beat down after refusing to let members stay in a vacant apartment. Last week, the company claimed on social media that gangs have taken over several of their properties, yet the mayor of the city claims that these are isolated incidents. Illegal immigration, a hot topic for voters come November. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump and his running mate J.D. Vance claim it's due to the Biden-Harris administration opening the southern border, allowing millions of people into the country unvetted. So much of this problem happens in sanctuary cities like this one here in New York City, where next year they're allotting 14,000 hotel rooms for migrants. And over the next 3 years, the city's expected to spend $6 billion on housing migrants. Back to you.
Staggering figures. John Glasgow, thank you. And here with reaction, the host of Rich Valdes, America at Night. That would be Rich Valdes. Rich, thanks for joining us. Again, those numbers are staggering. We're hearing those gang members, young kids, teenagers, so they can avoid jail time. What are you observing? I know you're based in New York.
Yeah, well, Katrina, again, this has become increasingly worse in the city. Thank God it doesn't look like Colorado just yet. But absolutely insanity, right? To think that you're now recruiting, you've got somebody in competition with MS-13. I think it's absolutely atrocious, but we shouldn't make the mistake to think this is some sort of disorganized group of derelicts. This is a transnational criminal syndicate of Marxists that have come from Venezuela to do exactly what they were supposed to do.
So what do you think they'll keep doing? What's the goal here, Rich? What's that going to look like? I know people are kind of upset, rightfully so, and scared of this.
Well, I think what we know thus far from law enforcement and from those in the intelligence community say that this group, Tren De Aragua, their source of funding comes from moving drugs and moving people, whether it's trafficking children or trafficking women, whatever they get their hands on. So they do that across the border, and it looks like now they're setting up a base of operations in Aurora and looking to increase that in New York.
Absolutely crazy. What do you think? What do you think will happen? Say if we do have President Kamala Harris, what happens?
I think this becomes the norm, right? And they begin to gaslight you and tell you, look, this is how it is. Kind of like that Raddatz interview where she was saying, no, it was only a handful of apartment buildings, yes. And J.D. Vance had to call her out on it. And good for him for doing that. I think that's exactly what happens. They'll keep saying, oh, come on, but it's not all immigrants.
It's isolated
immigrants, right? It's only a handful. The problem is it doesn't matter when it's your kid that gets killed, right? When your kid is Laken Riley, nobody wants to hear that it's just a handful of people.
We know former President Bill Clinton is talking about the fact that we need to vet people. We've been saying that at Newsmax here. Pretty much anyone with a brain has. Then all of a sudden we have this Democrat. We have Bill Clinton coming out saying we need to vet. Can we vet while the border is open like this? How does that happen? I know the CBP One app is being wildly used by people from all over the world to come into the country, especially those from South America. You know, how do we stop the cartel of this? How do we vet to make sure Tren De Aragua, or whatever the name is, doesn't come through?
Look, Katrina and Bob, the CBP One app is a total scam, right? It's literally allowing the Biden-Harris administration, along with their henchman, Mayorkas, to facilitate the biggest human smuggling operation America has ever seen. In my opinion, they're the real transnational criminals that need to be locked up. So that's not doing anything except allowing this to continue. What we need is a safe and secure border. When Trump was in office, he said to the Mexican government, look, if you don't curtail the flow of drugs across the border, we're going to go ahead and label you narco terrorists and use the force of the military to slow this down. They slowed it down.